Hello everyone, and welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. Today we're going to talk about why the best time to buy a Corvette is right now. Alright guys, so as you know, I am very excited for the C8 mid-engine Corvette coming. There's no denying that. It's going to be great and groundbreaking, all the things a new car should be. With that said, I currently own a C7 Z06, and the car still impresses me on a daily basis. If it's not the performance, it's the looks. The car literally has it all. I've done a lot of videos with my C7, going over mods, purchase price, ownership cost, and even discussing in detail all the available packages you can get with the car. I'll link all of these videos in the description down below for any future potential buyers out there. In all my travels with this car, I've come to realize two words that completely describe it. Unbelievable bargain. The car does almost everything. It has a purpose-built suspension for track use. You can get up to a 755 horsepower beast of an engine in the ZR1, so it's not just for track, it can also be used on the drag strip as well. It has all the quote-unquote creature comforts like air-conditioned and heated seats, dual climate controls, 10-speaker Bose sound system, and the ability to literally control the stiffness of your suspension. You can literally make this car be whatever you want it to be on a daily basis. Now, with all of that said, most of you are saying, well, yeah, but the C8 is coming, so why wouldn't I wait for that? Well, there's a few reasons. But first, let's talk about GM and their history of releasing new Corvettes. I'm going to go back to the end of the C5's run. The highest level of performance car to be built in the 5th generation Corvette lineup was, of course, the Z06. It weighed in at 3,118 pounds. It had 405 horsepower and 400 foot-pound of torque, and a 0 to 60 time of 4 seconds flat. Now, fast forward to 2005, and we have the brand new C6 being announced. The first model of the C6 weighs in at 3,285 pounds, and does 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. So you can probably see where I'm going here. Every brand new generation of the Corvette performs just a hair less than the previous N generation car. Now, of course, we can go even further with this. The C6 ZR1 is still a performer today, but obviously blew away the C7 Stingray when it was first introduced. The numbers aren't even fair to compare. But even if we drop to the more attainable C6 Z06, the Stingray still wasn't able to beat it. Now, when the C7 Stingray initially released, it had an MSRP very similar to the C6 Z06, but lacked the same kind of performance. Now, for the most part, this isn't necessarily a comparison model for model, it's just comparing what you get at the time of initial launch. What I'm basically getting at here is that odds are very good the initial C8 launch car will not compare with the C7 ZR1 and may not even completely beat the C7 Z06. While this isn't the only reason I'm suggesting to buy now, it is a reason. If performance isn't enough of a reason, let's talk cost. The rumor has it that the C8 is going to cost around $5,000 more per equivalent C7 model. That basically means the C7 base Stingray is around $56,000 MSRP from GM, so the equivalent C8 will be around $61,000. Now, these are just MSRPs, and of course you can get the C7 for much less than that right now. But keep in mind, with how popular the C8 is right now, it is likely to be months before you could get your hands on one of those for MSRP. It could even be longer. Dealer markup will likely grab a hold of the C8 pretty hard. In early 2014, whenever I went to originally purchase a Stingray, I could not find one for less than $15,000 over MSRP until close to the end of the year. And that was really only because the rumor talk of the pending Z06 model was lingering. In 2014, I really wanted a Stingray. I looked everywhere for one. I could not find it for anything less than $75,000 to $78,000 when the model I wanted was $62,000 MSRP on GM's website. At the time, it was frustrating and I was disappointed, but looking back on it, this is how cars that have a huge build-up behind them or huge hype, this is how they're sold. Dealerships typically mark them up and do what they call quote-unquote market adjustment, and you will pay the difference. If they can only get 1 or 2 C8s and they're flying off the shelves, they're going to mark them up. They're going to get more money for them, and you're going to have to pay to have it. I ended up giving up and just buying a 2014 Camaro ZL1 instead, because it was literally almost a year after I first started looking that I finally started to see the Stingray prices coming down. Another reason to buy now versus waiting for the C8 Corvette is that the first year models typically have issues, especially a car that is the first for an automaker like in this case. GM has never had a mid-engine Corvette before, and one of their only mid-engine cars didn't have the best reliability record. Now, I don't foresee GM having issues with this car at launch necessarily. Odds are good they're going to extreme lengths to make sure that this is the most buttery smooth launch ever, but it's definitely something to keep in mind if you're sold on making that day one purchase. Now, finally, the last reason. The C7 price. You can grab a C7 model for an insanely low price right now. I just heard of someone buying a brand new 2019 Z06 2LZ for $71,000. That is just insane. I paid $68,000 for my Z07 package 3LZ Z06, and it was a used 2015. These cars are so amazing, and for that price, it's just mind-blowing, especially when you think about the fact that the Z06 is likely to still perform just as good, or maybe even better than the first launch C8 Corvette. At this point in the C7's run, there are a lot of options for you to choose from. Stingray, Grand Sport, Z06, ZR1, and a plethora of special editions. You can literally get what you want for pretty much the price you actually want to pay. Any one of the cars from the C7 lineup are a fantastic bargain, so it really is completely up to you. The amount of performance and styling you get with this car is just ludicrous. If you want the lightest, most track-based C7 possible, there's an option for you. If you want the ZR1 with every single possible option you can get, you can do it. If you want the Z06 completely loaded, you can do it. If you want the Z06 completely stripped, you can get it. At this point, you literally can get whatever you want, however you want, with this particular Corvette generation. Now, of course, I'm not trying to talk you guys out of getting a C8 Corvette. I myself am very excited for it and will probably get one eventually. But depending on your situation and what you think of all the items I just touched on, it might actually benefit you to look into a Corvette right now rather than waiting. I love the C7 Z06 that I own, and it's going to take one heck of a monster from GM to make me want to switch. But I have confidence that GM can sway me, and I can't wait to see the final product. With GM's track record, odds are good the C8's going to come out and be a total monster. It's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be all the things that you really want in a brand new car, like I said earlier. With that said, all the points I touched on are still valid. You get a fantastic car, a Corvette, and you can even get it brand new for way less than you're going to pay for the C8 whenever it first comes out. Dealer markup is a real thing, and it is god-awful. There really is no worse feeling than finding the exact car you want at the dealer lot only to find out that it's marked up $10,000 to $20,000 more than what MSRP tells you it should be. You can avoid all that trouble by looking at a C7 right now. The C7 Corvette, I've said it 100 times, it's a fantastic car. I literally have no complaints with it. It competes at supercar level for entry car level prices. The only model of the C7 Corvette that hasn't really budged a lot in price is the ZR1. That one might be a touch more unattainable for some of you out there. I'd love to get my hands on one someday, but right now I am more than satisfied with my Z06. And like I said, it is going to take a monster from GM to make me want to move from that car. Anyway, guys, just to sum it up, GM typically gives you better performing cars at the end of a Corvette generation than at the beginning. The price is phenomenal for the C7 right now, and it's likely to be over MSRP on the C8 model, at least for a few months after launch. Could be even longer. My opinion, if you want a Corvette, go get it now. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd love to have you as part of the Horsepower Obsessed community. Comment down below, let me know what you think of the current generation Corvette and whether or not you would buy a C7 Corvette and wait on the C8 purchase for now based on the things I talked about here. I'd love to hear from you, so definitely shoot a comment down below and let me know what you think. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.
you.